King Kong is directed by Peter Jackson, and this is the second remake of the 1933 films of the same title. Yes, that is a 1976 film, which is a film I've not seen. No, I haven't seen the original film. The film stars Naomi Watts, Jack Black, and Adrien Brody. The filmmaker Carl Denham sets his crew and a leading lady to lead up to Skull Island where they encounter a big giant ape named Kong. You know the story. I think you don't need to know the whole plot of King Kong, do you not? Well, it's the same story, but with a new take on it, with a fresh idea from Peter Jackson. Oh boy, King Kong, let's talk about this. This film was a film that I remembered nearly 20 years ago when this film came out. I was about 11 years old. I was 11 years old when that film came out. I remember seeing it with my dad. I think I saw it just after Christmas, just right to the new year in January 2006. I remember saw my dad on the big screen. I remember watching it. I was blown away how good it was. I remember going, wow, that was so good. And I was so obsessed with it, especially with New York, and I was obsessed with gorillas at the time as well, which is quite surprisingly, I'm obsessed with that shit. And of course, I do own the film, which of course, the deluxe extended edition, which I do quite like because it does expand upon the story and also more Skull Island. And yes, well, maybe one minor nitpick. I will say this, the one scene where soldier men are trying to stop Kong and then Kong has jumped on the top of the truck and got him squashed, which kind of silly my liking, but I get the tension was, but at the same time it's a little bit silly, but that's a nitpick to the side. I'm going to start by saying this. The film direction here from Peter Jackson is a lot of heart and passion going to this film. Because if you know the Peter Jackson guy, he is a fan of the original King Kong. That's his favourite movie of all time. He cried so many times just right at the end when Kong dies, falls off the Empire State Building. And of course, as a filmmaker, he wants to remake that film with a new take on the story. But of course, run out of time, he has to do Lord of the Rings because the project's been dropped. But after Lord of the Rings is done, how he's got a lot of Oscar nominations, then he went back on to do King Kong. And then 2005, the film came out, and a lot of people say it's over too long. It's just Peter Jackson made things too low, like his Lord of the Rings trilogy. Well, yes, some of the criticisms I can see what they mean, but for the majority of it, I don't get that complaint. Well, yes, it is a bit slow, which I will give that some credits to. The beginning half of it, when in New York, we introduce these characters like Anne and Carl. You see these two characters setting up their arcs. And of course, you do get that stretch out a little bit to thin out the areas, but I don't really mind it. I kind of dig with it. It was a bit slow, but I was invested in what's going on. I was kind of invested. But when we get to the ship, and of course, when you get to Skull Island, I think that's where the movie picks up gradually. That's where it gets more interesting. It started to be more getting right into the stuff. And let's just say, for the camera work and the cinematography, looks great. Peter Jackson has a great camera lit and the technology he has with Skull Island. As a mixture of practical, but also with blue screen or CGI effect to make it look seamless. And my God, the effects holds up very well. Not even one little bit where it looks fake. It looks so well done. It looks fucking beautiful. I literally jaw dropped every time I see that shit, and it just looks amazing. And of course, how Peter Jackson is really capable to tell that story from his lens, and how he brings that, keep the style of the original true of the original King Kong did, but bring his new style to it, put his own perspective. But this is a prime example of how you do a fucking remake. Have a lot of heart and passion, who loves the original, wants to tell that story again, but try to put their own style to it, but also tell its own story, while also being true and faithful what the original did before. I can't fight for the cast. The cast looks amazing. I'll just try to get the elephant out of the way. Carl Denham, played by Jack Black, is the most very bizarre, obvious choice, because Peter Jackson saw School of Rock with the kids at that time, and he wanted Jack Black to play Carl Denham. I thought everyone would be like, Jack Black? Really? I like Jack Black, but him in a King Kong movie, how you can take him seriously? He's just all peaches, 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 peaches. Yeah, kind of weird to say that, but to my surprise, Jack Black kills it. He's actually really good. I really liked him as Carl Denham. I think he's brilliant. He definitely plays the character very well. He is very naive and just selfish, and the only thing's about his money, and all he cares about get his film made and show it to the world. But yet, everyone's dying, especially that one scene when this one guy comes out, like we watched the extended edition when they stop from these sea monsters or piranha creature looking. One guy comes out of the lake or the river, whatever it is, and of course this big giant sea creature bites him while Carl Dem is filming this. And even Lumpy, played by Andy Serkis, which quite surprised we'll get to that in a moment, ask him saying, got that already? Speaking of Andy Serkis, he plays two characters. He plays Lumpy as one of the crew members of the ship. And of course, let's not forget the God Almighty himself, Kong. He does the motion capture effect, and Kong looks amazing. He looks very detailed with the fur, the eyes, the emotions, and Andy Serkis is your go-to guy. And wherever you're making a motion capture effect film, even if it's a fantasy film or monster film or anything at all, or sci-fi film, he's your guy to get motion capture. So hire him as your motion capture to the future filmmakers out there. And of course, let's not forget how he's just plays Kong really well with the emotions and the expressions, especially when he makes fun of Anne when basically Anne tries to dance and do these weird jokes. And of course, Kong falls onto the ground and he starts laughing and does that. Oh, God, listen to me. And of course, Naomi Watts as Anne Darrow. Great as always. I like the actress. I know she's not done a whole lot much, but I do really like her performance. I think she definitely captures Anne very well. The beauty and also the eyes and the emotions. And throughout her character, you see her as a struggling actress in New York from the Great Depression. And of course, when you see her going to Skull Island, you start to see that fear. When she first encountered Kong, where she's been one of those sacrifices by one of those Skull Islanders, which, yeah, if you see the Skull Islanders, if I see them in real life, I would have run away. I would have just run back to the ship. I'm going, I'd probably just get out of here. I don't want to cause any trouble or get killed by one. Of course, Kong, when Kong counsels Anne and Anne's screaming and see her reacting, which is really hard for her to do when she's imagining a CGI creature right in front of her while she's getting flinged around or being tapped by one of those big giant dinosaur T-Rex like it, but it's a hybrid T-Rex. Yeah, scary as hell. Adrien Brody as Jack Driscoll, who is Anne's love interest. Of course, both are going to feel love in the film, to some degree in the movie. Not a whole lot of love story towards them, but you do get there's a romance between them. And of course, Jack Driscoll, who's a screenwriter, and of course, Anne is the big fan of his work because how he's a good writer and has to tell a good story. And yes, he's definitely a great guy. And Adrien Brody does a good job playing the character, and he's really likable enough. He's charming. He has that unique style to him. Of course, the ladies will woo him because I can see why. And of course, we see all these other crew members. You got Hayes, and of course, you got Jimmy, who is played by Jamie Bell. Which, to my surprise, when I watched this film again, I remember going like, oh, that's Jamie Bell. And all the actors are great, all the crew members, the characters, they all have their moments, they have moments to shine. And of course, we have all these great action set pieces as well in Skull Island, especially in Skull Island. The Skull Island stuff is incredible, especially with the stampede where the crew member had to run away from those dinosaurs. And of course, these wee velociraptors liking or hybrid of them, chasing them and just, oh, it gets your blood pumping. And of course, the pit where these creepy crawlies, insects, and this big giant thing with teeth just eats Andy Serkis' character, and which, yeah, let's just say that is the most terrifying scene in the movie, because every time I watch that scene, I get chills or get that little cringe inside me. I'm going, oh God, oh, no, that's too much. And of course, you get Kong versus these big giant T-Rex monster dinosaurs, basically Kong trying to protect Anne, which, you know, a really fun scene. And of course, when Kong does get taken to New York and he's been on the stage show with Carl Denham, of course, what do you know? Kong escapes and tries to look for Anne and just stampede over the city because how he reacts and how he sees everything different from his environment. Yes, he gets chased Jack through the taxi, try to help him to find Anne. The climax of the movie, the Empire State Building, where we all know what's going to happen in the film. That yes, Kong gets cornered and he gets killed by the airplanes. And of course, he falls to his death. And of course, Carl Denham says the most famous line in the movie. Of course, like in the original, he said this line right here. It wasn't the airplanes. It was Beauty killed the Beast. Says it all. Says it all. And of course, the music score by James Newton Howard is fucking amazing. It's haunting, beautiful, but exciting. That theme just gets your blood pumping, especially that open logo when the Universal logo comes in. Da, 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 da. Of course, that dun, 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 dun. before, I get goosebumps now. Well, yes, like I previously mentioned, the pacing does feel a bit slow at the beginning when they're in New York, some of these characters are. It does feel a little bit overstretched, but for choice of it, I don't give a fuck. I just don't get the criticism of the whole pacing. Well, yes, it is 3 hours long, and of course, the extended cut is like 10, 15 extra minutes long, I think it is. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. This movie's awesome. This one's a masterpiece. It's a very underrated remake. Probably this is my favourite King Kong. I know I had to watch the original and the 1976 film, but this is the King Kong that I would watch. This is my favourite version of the film, of the character. I know we have like Godzilla and Kong and the Kong Skull Island movie, but to be honest, those movies will never touch this movie at all. This is my favourite remake, and I'm going to say it right now, guys. I'm going to say it. I'm going to give King Kong 2005 film an A+. Guys, comment down below and tell me, what do you think of King Kong 2005? Do you love it? Do you like it? Do you think it's alright? Or do you absolutely hate it? Whatever the case is, comment down below and tell me what you think. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, see ya.